we're ramping up a little bit to do something special for 1 year anniversary. Happy birthday to us. How's it going? Oh, voice like an angel. Okay, that's enough.
Happy birthday to us.
This is the Rising High Extended Tea Break, the game dev podcast bringing you the best practical, actionable advice for indie game developers. Brought to you by RisingHighAcademy.com. The kettle's on, so let's go listen in.
Well, hey there, and welcome to episode 22 of the Rising High Extended Tea Break. My name is Kevin, and I'm joined today with Jilly.
Hello.
Hello, Jilly.
It's very warm.
It's boiling today, yeah. Another British thing. We have another day of sunshine, and that's all we can talk about. But that aside, what we got on the podcast today, Jilly?
I thought we'd just have a chat today about why you should revisit your old games.
Yes, this is more of a dev blog from us today. We are in the process of revisiting our old games at the moment, having a look at the portfolio, see what's doing. So what happens every September is that Apple will release a new device. And this is where most developers in the mobile space get a little bit of a shiver down their spine, because Apple will normally introduce some kind of new ratio for the device. So they bring out iPhone 6, iPhone 7, iPhone X. Happens historically forever and a day where they decide there's a new size, which means generally speaking we have to go ahead and update some stuff, because normally something will break or look wonky.
It's really a time when that's all devs really want to know. Okay, what size?
Well, that's right, and
they
of
don't
course,
care about the device.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just what
it.
Size is it?
Yeah, that's it. And of course, we've got the new iOS versions.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of years ago, I'd say maybe a little bit longer, that would almost certainly break all the SDKs as well. It's moved on quite a fair bit from now, so it doesn't break it as much as it used to, but new iOS, new device, it means we've got SDKs that need updating and new ratios to consider when building our games.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest one of late was obviously iPhone X, where they put that stupid little bar at the top.
Yeah, everyone's complained about
So,
that.
I mean, if you had your score that stuck to the top of the screen in the middle...
It is no more.
Exactly. It's been covered by the new little tabby thing that they put up there, which is really irritating. But
what was the annoying year when they brought out two devices? It was the 6. They brought out 2, didn't they?
6 and 7 probably. The iPhone 5 was the big one, because that was a massive change in ratio from what was the original iPad and iPhone 4.
Yeah.
Which both kept the same size, which was great. But then the iPhone went all thin and long, and now they've just gone up that way. So it's a pain, and it's good in a couple of ways, because it forces us to revisit our old stuff and reboot them and try and keep them alive. Now, a lot of the time, updating the game is a really good idea anyway. Excuse me. But it's a difficult one, because a lot of the time, by the time we've sort of finished the games... So our approach generally was spray and pray, really, to be fair. I know there's probably a kinder way of putting it, and it's not that strictly true, but for the most part it was. We just build quick games and release them, and by the time we finished with them, we were done. We were like, intense few weeks of development, and then we put it out there, and that was it. It was just like, we're done. We don't want to revisit it, and we move on to the next one. Now that doesn't really hold true so much these days, because if we've got something that's sticking around a little bit, and from the data is looking like it's doing all right,
it's kind of you might as well.
Yeah, we might as well try and build upon that.
Just rejuvenate it a bit. I mean, sometimes just a colour change.
That's right.
Can make all the difference.
That's exactly it. So it's all about revisiting and bringing them up. So for us, obviously the newbies out there who haven't built many games, this isn't so relevant. But for those who have been around a little while, I think it's a really good exercise to go back and look at some of your old stuff And often what we found is that we look at it and go, actually, this wasn't that bad. And for us, we were restricted by skills and tools at the time. So we couldn't do certain things to the game that we wanted to do. We spoke about constraints last time.
Yeah.
And whilst that is a really powerful exercise, sometimes it can be frustrating when you want to add stuff that you can't. So revisiting old stuff with now our skills are better and our tech is better.
Yeah, you can nip in and add that thing that it was missing.
That's right. Now the other thing with this is that often you can see where you went wrong.
Yeah.
And we're so guilty of this. And of course trends change, tastes change. When we were building our games originally, there was a lot of rage thing. It was the rage type era. And we made our games according to the market. Now, we look at the games now and you just think, oh my God, like, that was brutal. It's so weird, isn't it? It's just like you don't realise how everything evolves around you. And when you look at your old stuff, you think, actually, this is pretty good. What if we made it less rage? And make it a little bit more tolerant.
Change, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Rage games are kind of a little in the past now.
That's right. But
whereas if, like we built for that market, you could kind of revisit and tame it down a bit.
And that is exactly what we're doing right now. So we're, like I said, this is a bit more of a devlog, this one. We're just talking about what we're doing right now because we've been heads down concentrating on the academy. But we're coming up to our year anniversary of the academy. Jim.
We are.
How about that? Hasn't time flown past?
It does go quick.
Super proud of what we've done with the academy. 6 Apple features this year. 2 huge deals signed by mobile publishers, which is just unbelievable. And now I'm totally jealous because everyone's getting signed and we haven't built a game in ages.
We feel like we're falling behind.
That's right. So we're getting back into the game building. I'm super excited. I'm really ready for it as well. I'm really ready to start building some new little games.
I know what I've liked doing. I've liked revisiting, because I know when we built them, it was the Rage era. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying quite a few times, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
And you saying, but that's the market.
That's right.
That's what they want. And it was frustrating for me because although I enjoy the play, I don't enjoy dying every 5 minutes.
No, listen, I think that's a really good point. And, I think we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I just think the market is more for wanting to actually enjoy.
Yeah, it's a different world now, for sure. And the thing is, what I find really interesting, and this is the overarching theme of this one, is the fact that you can really look back and say, actually, we did this, and this really well. But we actually, regardless of the trends and stuff, this is really bad. Like, we made a lot of mistakes. And I think it's really important to be self-critical all the time. I am super self-critical. But I think it's a really good exercise to do because it keeps you on your toes and keeps yourself accountable to say, actually, this was a really bad idea. And what's really good is that you can see how far you've grown as designers and game producers to realise that actually, yes, the market's changed. Yeah. But what were we thinking when we did that? That's just insane. That's stupid.
Yeah. All of our old games they're solid builds, but there's things in it we maybe wanted to tweak, or there's things that was slightly a little bit quirky. Yeah. Because of the software.
That's right.
Which has now obviously come on in leaps and bounds since then. Yeah. So they're things you can pick up on and go back and fix properly.
Now, a lot of the time, I look at a lot of our games that we did, it's not going to be worth doing. Let sleeping dogs lie and all of that. Lie, yeah. But that, they were all very successful in their own right. We got a ton of downloads from them, so they did really well. But I think we dropped the ball a little bit on some of them, where they had an incredible launch couple of weeks, and that we left them to rot. And that was, in hindsight, that was
jumped on it.
That was a mistake, and I think that was our inexperience.
I think a lot of it is our exhaustion as well.
There is that, isn't
there? I really can't go back to it.
That's it.
Just now, because I wouldn't function very well.
No, that's right. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it's really weird because we go all in and we hit these fast deadlines to push them out as best of a product we can.
Yeah.
And we are absolutely sick of the sight of it when that final bill goes up. It's a struggle.
For me, it was more towards the end of the project when we're kind of testing and retesting that we actually noticed something very tiny that's wrong, which actually meant going back through the whole project.
Yeah, well, there's all of that.
It's moments like that you just think, you know what, I can't.
No, but we do, and that's the difference.
But we do.
That's the cruncher. We find that grit and we do it. So the point of this is that as we're revisiting our old stuff, I think it's a really good exercise for, especially if you've got old games out there. Think about what you could do to that old game. No, what was really great about the game? What wasn't so great? And maybe you can even take that bit that was really great and think, hold on a minute, we were definitely onto something here. Mm. Why don't we look at that again and try and reboot it? And even try and do like version 2.
Yeah.
Completely change it. Maybe keep the core mechanic or whatever it was that you felt was really strong about it. So it's all about not reinventing the wheel here. And for us, because we saw some really good success when we had the exposure, it's like, hold on a minute. We don't really need to build another game outright just now. Let's look at what we already got. Let's look at what we did well. And let's see how we can improve upon that. And maybe give it a facelift for 2018. Jig it around for the market now, for the hyper-casual stuff, which is non-punitive type games. And I think that's what we're going to do for the next... I think I want to ease slowly back into it. I have got like so many ideas for new games right now, and I am busting at the seams to try and make something, but I know we've got a lot of updates to do to bring everything back to life a little bit, and incorporate some of the new technology that's out there. All the new Apple rating systems and stuff.
Yeah, lots changed.
Yeah, loads of things have changed. So I thought it was good to come on here today, just do a little sort of quick little snippet, 15-20 minute job today, just to sort of think, just to get, certainly for you guys who have got old games in the store, to maybe have a look at those ones and think, well, hold on a minute, this was all right. Why don't we give this one a little bit of love? And even if you just update it, you could do a second version and move it around a bit.
I think it depends on time as well. If you just kind of want to revamp it as a quick project.
Yeah.
I think the danger is with a lot of our games is you can have that in mind, but then when you open it, you start changing so much that it becomes
so what you're saying is the danger here is me.
Yeah.
Because that's what I will do. My instinct tells me, but I always wanted to change that and I wanted to change that. And all of a sudden, what would be like a week's worth of jigging around and updating
turns into a month.
Turns into a brand new project.
And then you start thinking, well, you know what, I could have built a new game.
Yeah, that is very real. It's a very
dangerous place to be sometimes.
It is. And I know myself that well to know that if we start moving stuff about, it'd be going, but what about this and what about that, and we could have added that, and all of a sudden that time expands, like we talked about last week. It's just like you've got to be brutal about this, but it's got to be worthwhile as well. I mean, you can do the asset creation, so your App Store screenshots. I mean, a lot of the games that we had, you couldn't even put videos on the store.
No, that's right.
I feel old saying that, but we did. Apple didn't allow videos. They now have 3 videos and 10 screenshots. Whereas all we had, it's really weird because a lot of our games, they don't even have iPhone 5 screenshots. Some of them, which is really tragic, really. So all the new asset suite, some videos for sure that we should put up and refresh. And it's all this kind of stuff. So I think it's a really healthy exercise to go back and think, well, maybe I like this bit in this game. Maybe.
Yeah, it can help re-inspire you.
Maybe we can just take that little part of it and flesh that out into what would be a really, small little game on its own.
Well, if you look at Dragonlings, that had worlds within worlds.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean that's still a weird project for us.
And moons. I know once we released that, you said, maybe it was the character that looked good as a cube actually now.
Well, this is the thing. Funny you say moons. Yeah, but no, funny you say moons was brutal.
Yeah,
it was really hard.
We did go back and redo that.
Did we?
Touch. We made the.
I think
beginning
we might have done it for Google
easier,
Play. Yeah, but that's actually not a bad shout because that was so hard, and there's so much content in that game. There's like 200 levels or something.
I remember actually when we were building the last scene on that, we kind of thought, well, we're going to do like an ending of the story.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Where the moon kind of just took off.
That's it.
And I remember when we finished it, you said, well, yeah, it's all very nice, but I don't suppose anyone's ever going to see it.
Well, no, that's the trouble. No, I know, but that's the tragic thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe that is one for the cards, you know. Get rid of tons of the obstacles in that, because that's the tragic thing. Because it was so difficult, it's just like we made it too hard, and that's
what the reviews were saying.
And that's the classic example of how we did something wrong, and yet we never went back to fix it. Now, maybe, sure, we don't want to end up doing a massive update project like you said, but you know what? We had some really favourable reviews about that game. It's just too difficult. And instead of fixing it, we just went on to the next one because that worked out better for us.
Yeah, so we could have gone back and put a cube in that too.
I think we can do tons with that. And again, that was my gut feel about the character on that game, but that I've got no data to back that up.
No.
Analytics and all that stuff was just, it wasn't really a thing back then. We didn't look at any of the data. We were making gut decisions, which is pretty scary when I think about it now. I mean, it could have been, for all we know, it could have been the character that was driving all the downloads. It's just an assumption.
Yeah, it's just something you just don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Why should I be right? We've got nothing to base that off. So yeah, that's a little bit of what we're ramping up a little bit to do something special for 1 year anniversary. Happy birthday to us. How's it going? Oh, voice like an angel. Okay, that's enough.
Happy birthday to us.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing something like that. If you're on, be sure to head over to the website and get on our newsletter email list, because we'll be doing some exclusive things inside for our VIP subscribers. So if you're interested in any deals that we'll be offering out, do head over to there and pop your name in the box kind of thing. We don't spam, you're all right. But we will be offering out some email exclusive deals, and we'll also be doing something for you podcast listeners as well. So watch this space for that. Gilly's just looked at me with utter shock because I always do this and surprise her. But we'll be doing something for that. And I think that would just about go wrap it up for today. I wanted to come on and just give you a little bit of a behind the scenes one for this one. Let you know what we're doing. We have got some new games coming out soon for sure. I'm chomping at the bit.
It's been nice actually. We've been so deep inside the academy, and it's been a wonderful experience. But
let's be honest, right? We are a game studio. That is where we excel, in my opinion. We're at our heart. We build games, and we just haven't. Think about it, Gilly. We had an Apple feature just a few months ago, 6 months ago, which is really weird. It just goes so fast. It hasn't been that long, but it feels that long. But yeah, it's time to get back into what we do best, and really pleased with how the academy's gone. Our members are just crushing it, which is amazing, and it's really makes me really proud as well, because it means that everything that we've done to see the success is completely repeatable.
Yeah.
You know, it works, and that is it's worked for many people now, which is really cool. So that just about will wrap it up. If you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Get a little notification bell, whatchamacall. So every time we post out the podcast on YouTube, you'll get a notification. If you're on, do you remember when that person left us a review?
When that person left us a review?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone actually left us a review on iTunes.
So exciting.
That was so exciting. So,
look.
I know. So if you're listening on iTunes, do us a favour, pop a little review and a rating onto that. It takes you 5 seconds. We really appreciate it. It helps us out here, helps the show, helps us keep going, and gives us that motivation that we need.
And if there's anything anyone wants to know.
Yeah, that's
questions,
right. That's right. So you can get the roundup for this one, risinghighacademy.com/22. You'll see a little questions button on there. Fire us a message, and we'd happily respond to you and answer the best we can, and it will give us something to talk about on one of the subsequent following shows. And yeah, that should just about wrap up. We are going to go and build some games.
Yep, and make some tea.
So with that, we will wrap it up. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us this week. Hope you found that interesting. If you'd like to hear more about some behind the scenes stuff, obviously you can come into the academy. But if you want to hear more of it on the podcast, let us know. Tell me and Jilly if we're doing things right, if we're doing things wrong, you want some more behind the scenes stuff, anything like that. We'd love some feedback and to hear your thoughts. So risinghighacademy.com/22 for this one. And yeah, with that, we're going to wrap that up. And I think that'll do, Jilly.
Yeah. Take care.
Let's go build some games.
Okay.
You've been listening to the Rising High Extended Tea Break. To learn more about the resources mentioned in today's show, or to find out more about the Rising High Academy, visit risinghighacademy.com. That's risinghighacademy.com.